So good evening, everybody. How are you all? Oh, hang on, I've got. Sorry, I could have feedback. So today we are here to build issue 52 of the Routemaster. Looks a good issue. However, before we start that, I've got twice as much introductions to do today. First of all, we have Horlicks.
Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good evening.
And secondly, we have everyone's favourite guest, Dave Say.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to
So
Build the Routemasters.
What have you been up to then, Dave?
Oh, loads
Oh,
this
that
week.
face.
Loads and loads. You'll find out later.
You look like a kid who's just been allowed on the playground.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I have actually made an agenda for this show. Obviously, the show is audience driven, but what we are hoping to achieve is obviously building the issue 52 of the Routemaster. We've got Dave Say on, obviously. We're gonna Horlicks. Can I say Horlicks?
What are we talking about? Oh no, you can't.
Okay, well, look, guys, you know I'm trying. So we're also going to do a little bit more painting. If you remember last week, we were painting this guy. We're not painting the right colors. We're just going for the principles of painting, just to take a basic painting up to the next level. And I have bought a brand new part work today. And if everything goes as I've been told, next week we will have another part work. So what I will do, we all know what's coming next week on the Routemaster. So the whole show could theoretically take 30 seconds. So what I'll be doing is I'll be building 2 issue 1s just so that you guys can have a look. I don't know at this stage if I'm going to continue, and I'll be honest with you, I probably won't. But hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing, and then you'll be able to go, yeah, I like that, or no, I don't like it. So who would like to do the shout outs this week?
I don't mind doing it if you want.
I already know it's going to be Horlicks because poor old Dave can't see the chat.
No.
Can't see no chat.
Poor old
Right.
Dave.
Hopefully, I mean, yeah, I like doing them, but I get worried as well in case I miss someone and then they shout at me.
Yeah, doubt.
No, right.
Oh,
So
yeah, you've had that before, haven't you? So while you do the shout outs, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the outer wrapper off my Routemaster.
okay.
I'm not cheating, guys, I promise.
Okay, so hello to Izzy Harris. Welcome back. Roger Kendall, hello. Andre Wadups, is that? Good evening. Sorry if I've spelled that wrong. Love Minis, of course, hello. Steve Lee, Daniel Simpson, Dave Milne, Adrian Langley, Peter Whitlock, hello. Peter's been watching since issue 4, but this is the first time he said anything. My build is about 2 months behind.
Really good because
that's good.
I want everyone to get involved in the show, even if you just come in and say hello, and I can see a new person. But we'll get to that.
I think mine's about 2 months behind, maybe 3. I'm up to issue 37 myself. So yeah, we're probably around the same sort of stage. Okay, we got Fleetwood. Hello. Big shout out again to Fleetwood. Thank you so much for my latest parcel. I haven't done anything with that yet, but I will do. Stephen Hyson. Hello. Caldecott Bus Spotters. Hello. I don't recognise that. I apologise. I don't recognise that.
May I introduce him?
Yeah.
Caldecott Bus Spotters is a nice guy. He takes videos of our buses that go through Caldecott, which is one of the service areas that we service. And I'd seen he'd made a post on Facebook and he'd mentioned videos. He was asking about video software. And so obviously I'd seen YouTube. So I said, send us a link to your YouTube channel and I'll support it. You know, even if you've got 100,000 million subscribers, one extra helps. So we've been a subscriber of each other's channels now since about the weekend, and yeah, it's been good fun. I mean, obviously I see his videos from a point of view that I drive those buses. But yeah, it's nice. Just a little bit of support for each other. Well, for me anyway, it's appreciated. So,
Yeah,
hello,
brilliant.
bus spotters.
Hello and welcome. Okay, we got Roger Thompson. Hello, Steve Graham. Hello, Chris Camplin. Hello. Are you on time today?
Chris Camplin, we were talking about you on the Routemaster group this week.
Yeah.
I will explain later.
And the evening. Hello, Sol. Welcome back. And I think that's it for the shout out so far.
Fantastic. So, shall we pop Dave Say into his little corner and then start with the build?
Yeah, okay.
So, there is the front cover. And let me just switch my, this is the bit where it all goes wrong and it looks suddenly our very professional stream looks very unprofessional. So what I'll do is I'll go for the fixed focus point on the camera. So let's go for about there. Maybe I'm focusing the wrong camera, which is why it's not making any difference whatsoever.
Steve Lee says, hope that's a ponytail, Penny. Where's the locks?
Oh, do you know what? I've not cut my hair in ages and it's just starting to get in the way, so I've just pulled it up. I'm not a biggest fan of a ponytail, but then I think I'm not going to wear a ponytail. People go, "Oh, you look really nice with the ponytail." And
well, yeah, I was going to say it does really suit you.
Yeah, I just think you can see more of my face, so I like my hair down so I can cover it. Right, so what I'll do, I can't remember how we do this now, Mr. Horlicks.
Okay, well, you need to open that bag carefully, and then we'll go through the parts.
Hey guys, I've said this a lot, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm probably going to say it every single week. Be very careful, because this does contain small parts. And don't just chuck it all on the table. I mean, obviously, I've got a big part here, which isn't going to fit into my tray. So I'll just take that out carefully. But now that I've got just a small part, see, there's a part there. I didn't even notice that until just now. And just carefully tip it into something that can contain them easily. Now, I may miss. You see, there's a couple of bits there. Has missed the tray. And I can just move those in. And this bag, it looks empty to me, but don't assume it is. So what I do is instead of putting that in the bin, I put it next to the bin.
Yeah.
I know it sounds really stupid, and I thought that was empty then. So you see, I've got the parts contained. And then, again, this might be boring, but we go through it and we check each part. And then that way we know before we've started the build that we've got all our pieces. I say it's boring, but it's nothing worse than getting halfway through the build and going, oh no, I'm missing a part.
It's necessary. And it also helps later on if there, not saying there will be, but if there are any typos or mistakes or anything like that in the print, it's easier to identify because then we know we've looked at all the parts and we think, hang on, we didn't get them.
Yes, so, exactly. So, would you like to tell us what our first part is?
Okay, well, it's obviously the biggest part going, and that is the inner front panel, and that's 52A.
Now, this is, if you've never watched my show before, you are in for serious treat, because look at the detail on that. That is amazing. I'm really impressed with that.
They've carried that through, haven't they? Like throughout the whole build so far, the amount of detail that we've had. I mean, I haven't had so much, but like especially the engine plaques and things, they've really thought about it.
It's so sharp and clear, really is clear. But now this is plastic. Again, I think it's plastic because it doesn't need to be metal. I tend to find that the supporting areas are metal. This is obviously going to attach to some metal framework. So that's as tough as it needs to be. But yeah, I'm happy with that. That's really, really nice. And I can't see any marks or defects on it. And I don't know if I've been especially lucky, but I hardly ever get any marks or defects on my parts. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So
Okay.
52.
Yeah, I was just going to say as well, obviously, those that are watching, I'm sure everyone knows, but I'll just quickly go through it. It's a bit of a tongue twister when we're doing the parts saying 52A, B, C. So, as
Yeah.
some of you may
When
be
we
aware, 52 means the issue number. So, obviously, we're on issue 52, so that's why it's issue. That's why the parts are labelled 52A, B, C. 52 just means the issue number. So I think going forward, I'm just going to sort of say A, B, C.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because
I mean, obviously that comes in very useful. If they say attach 52A to 27C.
yeah, in that instance, I will say what it is. But just for the purposes of going through the parts, I'm just going to say A, B, C. I think it'll just be a little bit easier. Okay, so yeah, B is. Hang on, I've lost the thing. A handrail, and we should have 2 of those.
I've got 2. Now, I've just seen a comment come up by Chris Campling that says, "Don't jinx yourself, LOL." And as I read that, as I picked these up, this handrail is pretty damn near perfect. As you can see, it's plastic, but it's that I can't believe it's not plastic finish on the paintwork. Now this one, I have got what I would consider quite a major defect.
I see, yeah.
So I have actually jinxed myself in the same show. But I'll see how that goes. I might be able to hide that. If I can't hide it, then what I'll do is I'll just trim that off and I'll just get, I mean, obviously I carry paints because I paint miniatures. So I've got a color that will cover that up. So we'll see how we go. But on the whole, that looks fine to me. So we've got 2 handrails there. Not towel rails. You can't put your towels on them. They're handrails.
Okay.
Sorry, that was my bad attempt at a little bit of humour there.
Okay, so part C is 2 window panes.
Right. So, and actually, this is going to be really handy when I do some painting. I can use this for a palette because I come from Norfolk, so I reuse all my rubbish.
Well, it's funny you taught me well because underneath my desk I've got loads of them from when I do my. They're really good to use as palettes.
Yeah. So, looks like acrylic. They're quite brittle. A little bit of flexibility, but I don't want to push that too much. So, there we go. They look nice. So, they're see-through. So,
and do they have protective film on the back and the front? Can you see?
No,
or is
they
it
do.
Just as they are. No, that's fine.
But I mean, this is effectively the protective film, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't know if they were extra protection. Okay,
extra protection.
D is the lens, which is the part that you nearly missed, that didn't see.
Yeah, and that is really nice. Just like the headlights, it's got that little headlight detail on it.
Ah.
But it is very small. Let me see if I've got. I chuck rulers and things all over the place. So there you go. It's about half a centimetre, just over half a centimetre across. That's how easy it is to miss. And it's made of clear plastic. So obviously you chuck it on the table. Well, you can see it because you're looking for it, but you can see that it's going to be easy to miss. So be careful.
That's thrown me a bit as well, actually, because I wonder why we've got a lens in this issue.
We'll find out.
We will.
I wonder if it's got anything to do with the light.
Yeah, maybe an interior. We'll
Just
see.
a random guess.
Okay, so we should have. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, we should have 4 sets of screws. First ones are DP, and there should be 5.
Which there are 5. So I will. You guys know me. I like to put my DP screws into my little pot. Again, if you're a first-time viewer or first-time commenter, they've given us 5, which generally means we're going to use 4 because they generally give us 1 spare.
All right. Okay, and we've got 3 lots of JP screws.
And these are exciting.
And we've got 3 different color variants. So we've got 10 black,
So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh,
3, 6, 9, 10, 11. So I'm very lucky. I've got 11 there.
lovely.
So
Always good to have spares.
I might send a big email to Hachette. Thank you very much for the spare screws.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Okay, we should have 5 beige screws.
And these are exactly the same screws, but they've been painted with paint, funnily enough.
And it's just little things like that that make this build so much better.
Exactly. Exactly. Because
Okay.
we have moaned about some of the screws, haven't we?
Yeah. Okay, and then we've got red, 10 of. Or 11 if they've been generous.
3, 6. Oh, they've only given me 10 of those. Oh, I'm disappointed. Right,
Brilliant.
so I believe all of my parts are intact, which means that if I'm missing any parts now, it's my fault.
Right, and it does just say, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but I will go through. It says that the JP screws that are supplied are obviously in 3 different colour variants, and obviously make sure you fit them in the correct places to blend in with the parts that they're fixing.
That's correct.
So
right, so Steve Hyson has just given me a heads up. So unfortunately, he told me to get some masking tape. The only masking, whoa, sorry, I did a, oh, there we go. So the only masking tape I've got is this. This is actually a bit naff. This comes from B&Q, but masking tape always comes in useful, doesn't it?
I use this paper tape. It's like paper tape I got from work.
Yeah.
And this is pretty cool as well. It's not quite masking tape, but it's pretty much the same.
Right. So would you like to expertly describe to us or what section 1 is all about? Hello, Ian Bedson. How are you?
Okay. Hello, Ian. Okay. So step 1, and I've got it up on the screen. Fit the lens 52D to the inside of the front wall 48A, ensuring that the convex side faces forwards towards the front of the bus and the locating notch, as indicated by the red arrow, correctly placed. Put aside until step 3, when the lens would be held securely in place by the inner front panel.
Okie dokie. So, convex to me means pointing outwards, because concave means going inwards, because caves go in. So this is piece 48A, which obviously we've attached the number and the fire. Remember the fire extinguisher and the box. So we're going to turn it onto the back, onto the bland side, and there's the hole. And I've just noticed there's a little notch in there. So I'm going to look for the notch. There we are. There's a little notch on the lens. So what we're going to do is place that in there. And as per Steve Hyson and as per the instruction, you see this is where the instruction is, but down on the opposite side, it does say about the masking tape. So I'll just get a little piece of tape. Don't need too much, actually, do we? So we'll just cut that in a neat fashion, because I didn't used to be a neat freak, but then I met Horlicks.
So it's saying to put it on the inside of the front walls. Does that mean from the front?
Well, I guess that something's going to go onto there which will hold it in.
Yeah, so I suppose it's wanting us to secure it from the front, because then it won't obstruct it when we put, if you see what I mean, it'll hold it in place while we put the inner skin on.
I've just had a little naughty look, and yeah, wait till part 3.
Yeah.
Okay, but I can see now why they got the masking tape, because as you can see there, that's not now going anywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so
step 2, position the handrails 52B against the inner front panel 52A, matching the screw holes as shown. Fix the front rails in place from the other side of the panel using 4 DP screws.
Okie dokie. So these will be the other screws, as in not the JP screws. So I've got my handrails ready. I've got my 52A ready, and I'll just pull out 4 DPs and don't like that bit. I know some people like to know which bit I'm using, so I'm going to give that a go with the JO bit. See how that goes. So, right, so I'm going to try and put the defect down. So that's going to go that way. And what I'll just do is I will fit these both ways. There might be one that goes in better than another. I doubt it. But yeah, they'll go in any side, any way up. So I'll pop that one in. I'll just do one at a time, because otherwise the other one's going to fall out while I'm screwing the first one in. So I've just got my finger behind it, just holding it. And as usual with your screws, you need about 14 hands. So just screw that in. What am I going to say next?
Don't overtie them till it just stops.
Just enough to grab it. Yep, that's in okay. And then I will continue screwing that in. Be careful. I'm actually finding as I push down, I counter push back there. So it's probably going to be easier just to hold it like that. Because obviously if you push too hard, you could snap that rail. And what I'm finding that's doing is it's kind of pulling the rail in. See, you want to push down hard on the top there. Right. Okay, I'm going to do the second one slightly differently, because what's happened is as I screwed the first one in, it's kind of pushed this one out. And because there's a little plug, you see on the end there, there's a plug. If you push that one right in, that one's a much tighter fit. So it's probably going to be best if we just do a couple of screws there, couple there, couple there, and just keep going backwards and forwards. But obviously this one I've got in now, so I'll finish that off. And that rail is in tight. I'm happy with that. So is anyone getting really excited now?
I am. It looks amazing.
Yeah, I am.
And I can see there I am going to need to trim that off. That's going to show too much, isn't it? So that's not a problem. Oops. Doing a balancing act here, and I'm not winning. Right. Okay. So that's in just enough to bite. And that one's in enough to bite. So this time I'm just going to try a couple of turns on each. And it still popped out. This is the problem, because you're pushing pressure on this side. You're actually going to push that out, but you don't want to push it too much on that side, because being a plastic part, I really don't want to snap it. See if that helps if I loosen that. There you go. That goes back in. So if you find that's popping out, just loosen this side. In fact, actually, I'm going to change I'm going to be a bit annoying. I'm actually going to change to a J1 bit. I think that's a bit more of a universal piece now, isn't it?
I agree. I think that's why mine's slightly worn.
Yeah. It's not quite so deep, but it's a lot wider, so it kind of grips that screw a lot better. There we go. I think that's magic now, isn't it? And I already know we're going to need this for the JP screws. There we go. There we go. Right, I'm happy with that. Okay, what do you think? Just that little tiny bit has set that off even more, isn't it?
Excellent.
So, are you happy with that?
Hang on a minute. Can I see that again? I think. Is it me or is that right-hand rail slightly bent down? I'm just wondering if loosening the screw slightly on the right-hand one might.
Oh, you mean this one pointing up?
Is that supposed to be like that, or is that just maybe the screw just turning that? Because you know when you tighten something, it starts to pull it round.
That should be right. Good spot there, Horlicks. Does that look better?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
I think it's better.
If you find it's pulling it up, just loosen it off. Well, I've loosened it off about a quarter of a screw. I suppose it depends on how much of a perfectionist you are. So that's one side, and that's the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
And they're still tight. They're not rattly. Okay.
Okay.
So I believe we're up to stage 3 now.
We are. So, this is where it gets exciting. So we need to lay the inner front panel 52A flat and fit the 2 window panes 52C into the recesses around the windows, taking care not to get finger marks on them. See inset below. So we'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that first, and I'll move on to the next part of step 3.
Okay, so what I've done is I've laid down a piece of kitchen roll. Because I don't know if you remember a while back when we did, I think it was issues 12 and 13. I actually found that I scratched them on the cutting board, so I'm not going to take any chances here. So just move the camera in a little bit.
And again, it's saying to ensure the lens doesn't fall out, hold it in place with a piece of low-tack masking tape on the outside of the front wall.
Ah, that's a good idea. Okay, so, well, as soon as I heard masking tape, I thought, well, hang on, are we going to trap the masking tape in? And then you said on the outside. Right, so this is about as low tack as you can get, trust me. As you can see, I snapped my blade, but I'm too stingy to change it yet. So, 2 pieces of glass. Just wondering if there's a top or a bottom. Oh, they don't actually go into a recess. Ah, they do on these. Ah, okay, yeah, if I read the instructions. So I'll actually place this into these and then tape them from the other side. And then I'll place this onto that.
Yeah.
So I think the easiest way to do this is obviously I'm trying to avoid touching it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just touch the top. Just go solid. They're being touched. And then I will tape this into place. So that's in. Then I will place the other one in, touching only this side. That's in. They go in rather easy and they're a tight fit actually. So then this one can be taped in. Oh, I can see there's a static charge on there. I'm going to be a bit careful not to tape over this bit because I don't know if it'll pull it off. Right, so now I've finished my touching. I can get a piece of kitchen roll. Always use kitchen roll over toilet roll because toilet roll, it'll sometimes leave little fluffy bits behind. So there we go. Now I'll remove any touchy bits I've got. There's a little splot on there. Oh, that's gone. That's fine. So that's come out. So I think they're about as clean as I can get them.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 52C into 52A, and then I obviously need to remove this piece of masking tape.
Yeah, and it's saying to put that piece of masking tape on the front of that panel.
Ah, okay.
So from the other side.
And that's decided to move around in its own place.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Right, so now we are going to...
Okay, so...
Oh, sorry,
yeah.
you're doing the next page.
Keeping the glass in place, locate the inner front panel 52A against the front wall 48A, ensuring the screw holes are aligned.
Okay, so obviously I was doing a little bit of a quick dry fit, and I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2. Oh, they've got 2 there as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the 4 along the top. So if we line this up properly, I don't know if there's an... Oh, there we go. We've got a click. Right, so I've got no wiggle at the bottom. I don't know if there's an easy way to know if we've got these in. Ah, these ones we can see. Right, I think I'm just going to screw them and hope. Okay, so we've got...
So yeah, we need to fix in place on the left-hand side with 2 beige JP screws and 5 red JP screws.
Right. And that's in total, isn't it? 3.
Yeah, so for some reason it's asking us just to do the left-hand side.
Okay, right. Okay, I can see the fifth screw hole now. I don't know why there's one there and not that side, but I'm pretty sure that will all come in. So let's do the 2 beige ones first, just because I like them. I think it's because it's a new color, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
We've seen brown, we've seen black, we've seen red. This is something exciting. Now, obviously, be careful, because if you start, what do you call it when you start going
grinding it up? Yeah,
you could end up taking that color out. So I suspect the first screw is going to be quite tricky, because you've got to make sure it's in place. But once you put 1 or 2 in, it'll kind of pull the whole lot in. There we go. Right, I'm confident that one is spot on. I'm not the biggest fan of painted screws. Oh my, that's gone in. Okay, so that's only enough just to bite. And I'm being just slightly more careful than I normally would with screws. I really don't want to remove the color off these. And there is going to be an increased chance of paint block, because we've got paint on the screws. I think that's gone in perfect. I've shocked myself there. So I can feel it starting to get a bit tight, and that's as far as I want to go. And there's no movement. Obviously, there's movement at the bottom because we haven't put those screws in yet. Keeping an eye on that and keeping an eye on that. Okay. Fine. And then these ones are going to be red screws?
Yes, they're going to be red. 5 red screws.
Okay. Because I have noticed that one of the screws is actually going to go half red and half black. So it's going to be ever so slightly visible. So 5 screws at the ready. So shall we go middle one first?
Yeah. I'm wondering if that purpose of that screw is just to keep the lens in from on the other side.
Could be. Oh yes. No, it's close, but not close, not touching it. Okay, so let's go middle next. I think that's in.
Peter Wright said you would have thought that as the side light on the driver's cab has an LED, there should be one on this side too. But yeah, I see what you mean. It's just a pretend lens.
Looks like this one is going to be the one that shines over the bonnet.
Yeah, but obviously it won't be wired in because we can't.
No. There you go. It's going to be the one in there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're right, Andy. It's not gonna. It won't work. But
well,
you could make it work.
Yeah, you could. I don't
could
know
mod
how.
it.
There's not a lot of room in there, but
A bit like my Blocks bus. Get a nano LED, and then run the wires between the two bits and down the bottom somewhere.
So I'm being extra careful on this. However careful you screw your screws in, just go slightly more careful. I really don't want to remove that paint. If they're going to the trouble of giving us red screws, the last thing I want to do is make them black.
They actually blend in really well, don't they?
They do. They do. To the point that where we've got screws showing, I am now actually considering just putting a little blob of paint on them, because look how well they blend in. You can't really see those 5 screws.
No.
The white ones you can see them if you look for them. Yeah, I like that. That's really carefully thought out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so I wonder what we'll be doing on stage 4.
Oh God, I haven't even got that far. Hang on. Okay, so stage 4. Ensuring the window panes are still in place, fix the right-hand side of the inner front panel. 52A to the front wall, 48A using 2 beige JP screws and 4 red JP screws.
Okie dokie, so I'm just getting the screws out. So that's 2 beige. And did we say 4 red ones?
Yes.
2, 3. Okie dokie, so where are my screws? Where are my screws? Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough today. Right, so I'm going to go for the outside because I can actually see the outside. That's in. That's nice. I'm just going to double check my other base screws in a moment because I'm not sure if I tightened them.
Chris, I'm feeling okay. I am still ill. I've had it for about 4 or 5 weeks, but it's not as bad as it was. I've just got the tail end of a cough, but I'm getting better.
I wonder if you've caught a computer virus.
A computer virus?
Yeah, well, I'm not feeling ill, and I wonder if I caught it off you. And the only way you could transmit anything to me is via the computer, therefore it'd be a computer virus.
Yeah. You do come out with some weird things, don't you?
I'll tell you the cutest story ever. many years ago, I used to work for an extended warranty company that used to sell extended warranty on certain electrical items. And there was a story they told us that obviously you've heard of the Millennium Bug, haven't you?
Mm.
There was this big scare story that everything was going to break on the stroke of midnight in the year 2000.
Oh yeah, the electric was going to go off, the water was going to go off.
All the aeroplanes were going to fall out of the sky and everything. Well, anyway, this little girl, she'd heard this story, and she was really worried that the Millennium Bug was going to get into Daddy's computer. So she got a big pair of scissors, got the power plug, and she just cut the cable in half so that it couldn't get in. And but where the story got funnier was that when the dad rang up, because obviously he was covered on his extended warranty, so he thought, oh, that just kind of I've broken that. I've over tightened that. I think I'll get away with it, but I think I've over tightened it. Because I tightened it and then all of a sudden it just kind of went sort of a click. These plastic parts, they do thread, whatever they're called. I think that's going to be all right because it's secured in with so many other screws. Anyway, so this dad rang up and said about what happened, and this customer care advisor, they said no, you're not covered because it's malicious damage, or in other words, you've done the damage yourself. And he went a little bit mad, and eventually they did pay out because the story was cute, but it made me laugh. Right, so I've done stage 4 there, and I've just ever so slightly over tightened that screw there. But as I say, I think I've got away with it because there's all these other screws. If I just give that a bit of a pull, it doesn't really give too much. So I'm not going to push it and screw it anymore. So do you think we're ready to remove masking tape?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The moment of truth.
This is where they fall down in between.
Oh no! Yeah, that looks fine. That's not going anywhere. That is not going anywhere. So even though it's only really screwed in with 3 screws, that's tight enough.
I've just got to say as well, Andy's come up with a really good point. Penny, be careful with the winder on the number box at the front.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was wary of that last week. But what I've done is I've deliberately put it in a down. I'd like it in a slightly outward position so that it shows better. But I like it like that. In fact, actually, yeah, that is loose. That's right, yeah, because I daren't push it in anymore, dare I? So, oh, there you go. It has come open now. So I must have actually... Oh, yes. Yeah, I've actually knocked that. Yeah, so guys, be careful. As I've put that down, I've knocked it, which is why it's a little bit loose. I don't think it's loose enough. Oh, actually, that's gone in tighter now. So yeah, be careful with that. So actually, I might go as far as saying, if you haven't done issue 51, don't do that. And I think we did actually say that last week anyway, didn't we?
Yeah.
And sorry, change the subject slightly. Love Minis is also ill. So lots of love and hugs to you, Love Minis.
So what do you think, guys?
Wonderful.
Oh, it's amazing.
I like that. But with this being shiny paint, it really does show any finger marks really, really well. So I might have to get my Windowpane on that, or me Pledge Polish, or Mr. Sheen. There we go. Okay, so it's
Right.
I've just caught the next stage, and it's looking really exciting. I might just have a brandy just to calm myself down.
Okay, so yeah, step 5. We need to position the front wall assembled in step 4 against the front end of the lower deck assembly. The front wall should sit on the floor, 42A. And the tabs on the front side walls, 49B and 49A, should fit into the recesses on the sides of the front wall, circled in blue. Fix the tabs in place on the right hand side with 2 black JB screws.
Sorry, how many screws?
2.
2. So I'm just going to have a very quick advanced look. Oh, we're going to need lots of JPs. Okay, I didn't really want this knocking about so much, but I don't think I'm quite ready to put it away.
I think as we haven't got any brandy, you're going to have a swig of your cream soda, aren't you?
Yes, because I'm feeling not particularly brilliant, and I wonder if I confess I don't drink enough, and I know that. So when I do get a bit ill, I think not drinking enough does contribute. So I've said to Horlicks before the stream started that I want to drink this entire 2-litre bottle of cream soda. I know it's not perfect drink, but still sugary. But right, so I'm placing this obviously fire extinguisher number brown box on the outside, dull side. I'm going to call it dull side, but that sounds negative. But I'm going to place that. Now there is actually a locating tab. I don't know if you can see it too well. So on the front walls or the side walls, you've got these little tabs there. Can you see those okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they actually fit very nicely into there. One there and one there. And there is actually one on this piece as well. So that should help us to line it up. So place one in and then slide the second one in. And then you've got another tab sticking out the top there, and that'll just come into the side. Now, this looks odd to me. I'm sure it'll all fit into place. But where on the inside, you see it's rounded. But on the outside, it's square. So it's throwing me a bit there. Right, so we are fixing, one side first, aren't we?
Yeah.
So it's
on the right hand side first.
Yeah, so there's a big screw hole there, and there's a big screw hole there. I'm sorry you can't see it too well. Oh, there we go. So one there, and these are actually on the sticky out lugs on the side wall. And I'll just quickly shoot that in there right now.
It reminds me actually when that actually looks at the moment as it is looks a little bit like a train carriage.
Do you know what? That thought has actually crossed my mind. But it's basically what it is, isn't it? It's a railway carriage for the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as usual, I just put these first two screws in just enough to bite. Once I was confident they were in place, I've tightened them up. And I'm being a little bit wary here because obviously I've got a screw that's gone in too much before. And that's nice. That's in. Obviously, it's flapping on the other side because there's nothing holding it down. But that's obviously now going to fix this wall a little bit stronger. Yeah, let me show you this. So this wall, if I do it in the middle, you see that's quite solid. If we now move to this other wall, you can see how flexible that is compared to this one. It's all to do with the 6 sides of the cube. So right, so that's that bit done.
Okay, so step 6 is just to do the same on the other side. Fix the tabs on the left-hand front side wall, 49A, in place in the recesses in the front wall using 2 JP screws. The inset shows the tabs fixed in place. Top right, front bottom, left front, with the JP screws circled in blue.
Right, so I'm put this on its side because that's just the easiest way I can work with it. But obviously be careful because only one side of this wall is attached. And obviously I now don't want to push down too hard because I am aware this is plastic. It might be quite strong, but let's just not chance it. So, as before, first one in just enough to bite. Make sure it goes in straight. I mean, that might be why the other one went straight through, because maybe I didn't quite put it in straight. There we go. And I just need to pull that together a little bit. Oh, I'm happy with that. Very happy with that. And that's as much as I dare on that one. And that's as much as I dare. Now I can see a little gap at the top, but I don't think that's where I think the screw that was on the other side. But I don't think that's going to matter. I think that will all come into place once we're covering that. And I just caught that, but I was very lucky there. Okay, so we have now got 3 sides of this box. And that is really solid there. Look at that. There's no movement. Even though the bottom's not screwed in, that's solid. For plastic, that is really, really solid.
Okay. Right, so now we're going to make it even more solid.
Wow.
We're going to use 4 JP screws to secure the inner panel 52A to the floor 42A.
Just wait for me to catch up. I just want to sorry, I had the bus on the desk and I couldn't flick to your view. Sorry, right, off you go.
Yeah, so use 4 JP screws to secure the inner panel 52A to the floor 42A. The inset below shows the screws in place.
Okay. So I think the tricky bit with this stage is not the screwing in, but positioning the bus. Because obviously I need to access the bottom. I don't really feel comfortable pushing this upside down because it's not a lot to support it. So I think I'm going to try and work on it sideways. It's not the best way to screw screws in, but there's more support on the side.
Mm.
So we'll see how we go. If it doesn't work, we'll try a different method. That's how we work, isn't it? So I did just notice Caldecott was saying about his 324, my favourite bus. The 3 series I really like because I like those little Dennis buses. They're very simple, but they do as they're told. And I do like the simple buses. Right, so. Oh, that was all right. The screw actually went straight into the hole a little bit too easy. And then I gave a couple of rotations and you could just feel it grab. So I don't know if that's going to be the same with all of them. Yeah. So that one. Yeah, you can feel when it starts to actually bite. Okay, that's actually not so bad. These screws are going in very nicely. And it's actually surprising. I know we just got on with the seats, didn't we? But it's surprising. Oh, that one's gone into, that's over tightened. I seem to get that with the plastic screws. It just kind of shreds it, but that's not going to fall out on its own. So, but I've had that with quite a few of them. There we go. So I'll just check how solid it is. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to pull this about when it's finished, but there we go. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
But there you go. I know it's fairly obvious now I mention it, but look at all those screws in the bottom.
Yeah.
Right. So do we
Okay.
have stage 8?
Okay, so
No.
no, that's it.
That's it.
Oh,
Okay, so that's what the finished view looks like. What I think is going to be easier, and I've got a feeling I'm going to do this more and more weeks. I'm actually going to hold the bus up in the air and show you because of the size of it. But that is what we are now up to. And that is, let me pull this light up. There we go. That's what we're now looking at.
wow. Brilliant.
I feel like I'm on a catwalk now. Do 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 do. The little lens there, wherever it's gone, it's over there. That's in nice and tight. The windows are in. They're not going anywhere. So I'm going to guess that we're going to do these windows the same way by having an outer. I'm now wondering, are the sides are going to be metal, aren't they? They gotta be. God, do you think they might be big panels?
Oh, I don't know. No, I think if we look at the picture, isn't there? I don't know if it shows you on this. Yeah, if you look at the picture, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's about 10 panels.
Oh yeah. Oh,
you-
I've just noticed that. I'll show you there. No, that's not going to work. Are you able to get a picture of the front cover
Yeah,
and then just
zoom
blow it up
in.
and have a question? Yeah. And while you just pull that up, I'm just going to put. You know me, I like to get the bus on the shelf as quickly as I can.
There we go. So you've got. There we go. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That looks like it could be a panel. 9. That looks like it'd be one there, possibly.
Yeah.
10. And then 11.
The little one, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're looking at about 11. But these two, this one in particular, is very small.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it now looks like those rivets aren't rivets; they're actually screws.
Yeah.
Screws, yeah.
Wow, screw you.
Yeah.
So we'll probably get a panel a week, I reckon, for 11 weeks.
Oh, let's hope we get a panel and something else.
Yeah.
No, I mean I don't mind a bit, but the one of the things that I think is clever with the Millennium Falcon is obviously you've got absolute tons of framework to do. But what they do is they give you a couple of little bits of framework, and then they give you something else to work on, and then every 3 or 4 weeks they say, right, now assemble this piece of framework, and then the next week they give you a little bit but something else to work on, maybe a piece of corridor or a gun or whatever. And if they do this the same way, here's a bit of framework, but we're going to do this. Here's a bit of framework, we're going to do this. And after about 5 or 6 weeks, we'll put lots of panels on. You know, they don't need they you know, I don't know. I think that'd be a nice way. I mean, I'll be happy because we seem to be building up just as we think we know what it's all going to be like. Suddenly they throw us some extra bits, and then we're like, wow, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Say, your analysis of that issue.
That issue was brilliant. I loved it. Yeah, I think it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
It's added an awful lot.
Do you think the colours helped an awful lot?
Yeah. The colours aren't actually to what they should be. That yellow should be sung yellow.
Okay.
And sung yellow is slightly darker than that. But as a representation to what we're going to see of it, I think it's all right. I won't be spraying it any different colour, but I do know that somebody has in the group.
Right.
So
okay.
Do you think if it should be sort of a shade darker or something? Well, if it should be a slightly darker, do you think like once that's actually in the bottom deck, and then we've got all of the casings on it. That's going to make it darker anyway.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm going to leave mine exactly as it is because once you, as you say, Alex, once it's all shaded in with the roof and everything else, you're not going to see an awful lot of that colour.
No.
Sorry, I've got that fixed on, Dave, rather than.
No,
If I showed that, someone came round my house and said, I love Routemasters, I know everything, show me something that's going to excite me. So I showed him that. Do you think he'd be excited, or do you think he'd go, well, that's crap, that's a load of shit, get rid of that?
I think they'd be very excited, to be honest.
Right.
Because it is very good representation of what it is.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
I've got
two or three models that are representative of a Routemaster, and this outshines them all, really.
Yeah. See, I appreciate the smaller the scale, the more detail you lose. So something being 1:12 scale, I expect a lot more detail than, say, 1:48 scale or 1:72. But I still appreciate there'll be some loss of detail.
I mean, I have a 1:76 scale one here, and it has an awful lot of detail, don't get me wrong. And you can't obviously open the bonnet or anything because obviously it's far too small for that. But the detail on this is a good representation, really. Made by a really good company. Is a good representation of what it really should be. But the detail on the 1:12, far superior. Which you
would expect, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just going to quickly try and catch up with the comments.
Yeah, and just before you go up for that, sorry, Steve Lee is just saying that he's got to be up at 4:30, so he's got to go. Thanks to us all, and best wishes to everyone in the group. I just wanted to get that one in as he was leaving.
Fair enough.
Tuesday.
So next week, I believe we have a figurine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we've got a figurine of a young woman in a swinging 60s outfit. So she was going to stand on the lower deck. Now, me and Penny are going to have a conflict again. I'm actually quite excited to have the model.
Do you know what? We're not going to have a conflict. Shall I tell you?
Not a conflict, but a difference in opinion.
No, I don't think we will, Horlicks, and I'll tell you why. Right, when we got the figure last time, obviously I was disappointed, and one of my arguments is that I want to pick up this screwdriver and use it, and that is still valid. That's still my valid point. However, one thing that cropped up was, if you look at the current issue and the past issue, what we are going to get next week is the issue that we've done today and the next week. And then if the magazine after the figurine is good, the balance of the two magazines is good. Now, some people want figurines, some people don't. Some people want this, some people don't, etc., etc. You can't make a model that will please absolutely everybody.
No.
And looking, I haven't looked. I will confess, I've got the magazines. They're sitting over there. I don't know if you can see that box next to the model space one. That's all my my Routemaster magazines. I've just shoved it straight in. I've had a glance, but I've not had a look. On the basis of this, it's going to be a good model. And if I can't build something, at least have good quality. And they've left it 7 weeks apart to give us figurines. If they gave us a figurine every week for 8 weeks, then I would probably get a gun and blow my brains out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that fair?
Yeah, that's a fair comment.
You know, I don't really love having the figurines, but then it's going to add some. It's like painting a miniature and not having a base on it. You put a little bit of mud and a bit of grass on the base. Suddenly it's gone, wow. And I think that's what the figurines are going to do. It's going to add some activity to the bus.
Yeah.
So, yeah, whether you choose to use them or not, I may actually, because obviously I might not put any figurines at all on my magazine copy and put all of the figures into my Newport bus, but repaint one of each duplicate. So, but yeah. So they look hustly and bustly, activity. It's being used. It's not just sitting there looking nice, but it looks a nice figure. And I like that dress. I mean, I wouldn't wear it myself, but it looks very 60s, 70s. You know, it looks like a young, slightly rebellious, I'm going to be my own kind of person. This is kind of the turn of when women went from being nothing to something. And that's what it says to me. I mean, the magazine has mentioned women in the workplace, the importance of women. Obviously, we know that in the war, they went to work because the men were away fighting. And then when all the men came back, all the women were like, yeah, you can go back in the kitchen now. This is in the era now where you know, women have had a taste of work and they're like, I like this. It's given me independence. I want to, you know, and that's what that woman says to me. Am I over analyzing this woman?
No, I don't think so.
So, yeah, I suppose my assessment of it is you may not necessarily like it, but I think it's an important figure to put on the bus. There you go. That's my sum up. You might not like it, but it's important.
Yeah. And to me, she looks like a penny.
Oh, God. She doesn't look anything like me.
No, not you. But you know, when you see, I just think it suits the name Penny.
Okay. If you want to call yours Penny, that's
Penny 2.0. Obviously, we've got the original Penny. We can't beat that, but...
Oh, you are too kind.
Oh, dear. Right, so, moving on.
So, yeah, I mean, another reason I'm going to enjoy next week is because obviously we've got some other things we're going to do as well. Shall I introduce one of the things that I'm going to do next week, or maybe we could have a talk about the top secret project?
No.
Okay, so
not yet.
Today I popped into WH Smith's and their shelf full of this. Now, I'm always happy to buy issue ones and have a look at them. I'm not going to build this week, but we'll have a look at it. But I'm now the owner of Build a Bismarck.
Oh.
Now, I'm probably not going to continue this for two big reasons. And there might be funny reasons, but the first one is it's 140 weeks and it's a German battleship. If I was fanatical about German battleships, I would have this to the point that if I ran out of money, I'd stop doing the Routemaster. But I'm really not fanatical about doing a German battleship for 140 weeks. The second reason is this is going to cause controversy, and I apologize. There has been a debate in the model world for a long time. The actual Bismarck in 1941 had a great big swastika on the deck, which would be round about there. And there's been a big hoo-ha. Oh, it's offensive. It's a swastika, blah, 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 blah. But the modelers are going, okay, fine, you don't have to like the swastika, but it's historically accurate. So I personally don't like it because it's not got the swastika. You know, it's like building a Routemaster without the destination blinds. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
So but we will have a look at the magazine today. Next week we will build it, and then hopefully that will give you a bit of an informed choice. This is actually in the shops for 2 weeks, as per all issue ones. And then hopefully next week we will build this so you can see whether you want to decide to buy it. And hopefully also I'll have the Terminator as well, which I believe is due out next week. So I will switch cameras, and feel free to chirp in at any time, guys. So nice big packaging. They always give big packaging on the first issue because obviously they want to draw your attention. So magazine, and it's all glue gunned in. So that will sit there like this. So the parts, that looks like it might be a metal part. And then there's a whole piece there, and then there's some pieces on sprues. And that's all I can really tell you at the moment until I open the magazine. I'll have a look at the card next so that I can get rid of it. So obviously you've just got the basics along the top. It's 1 to 200 scale, which is big scale. And you've got the website there, battleshipbismarck.co.uk, and it's by Hachette Partworks. What do we know about Hachette Partworks?
They're South African.
Are they? They're a South African company based in South Africa?
Africa, yeah.
Right, so the Bismarck entered service in 1940 and was at the very forefront of battleship construction. The ship's dramatic destiny has remained a subject of great fascination. Is this the one that was destroyed by a shell going down one of the... Or was that the hood? Didn't a shell go down somewhere and it exploded all of the ammunition store? And that's
Into
why
the armament. Yeah.
I think so we've got heavy artillery, we've got moving guns, we've got control towers that move, we've got lighting. The aircraft aboard the Bismarck features two-color painting and includes all identification. So that'll be a little spotter plane, won't it? They'll launch that so you can have a little look around. So it won't be like a fighter plane or a bomber or anything. Oh, Dave Mills says that was the hood. I know that historically the Bismarck and the hood were linked. Do you think in 140 weeks' time we'll build the hood?
Possibly.
All right, so we've got the bridge and we've got propeller and rudder. Issue 2 in 2 weeks for $5.99. We've got the magazine. Tell me if I'm going through this too quickly for you guys. So I'll put the parts to... I'm sorry, I'm going to have to... No, I'll remove those later on. So I'll put that safe for next week. And obviously there'll be a lot of gumph comes with this because they want to advertise it. So it is a weekly magazine, I can see. Every week at your newsagents. So as I expected, there's always 2 magazines. There's the main magazine and a little bit of gumphy bit. So you've got all the subscription. So if you subscribe, you're going to get a free cut and mat, free issue, I think that is. Oh, free issue 3, free cut and mat.
Oh, it is a cutting mat. I was under the impression it was a display base.
No. You get free binder, free toolkit, which don't know what I think to that toolkit because obviously I've got my Aurea.
Yeah.
But that metal plaque, display plaque, that does look nice. I like that. So
what is it? A closer look at the toolkit, sorry. Oh, I see.
It's basically our Aurea with a different screwdriver.
That's an electric one, isn't it?
No. That's a ratchet one.
It's just got a handle in a funny place, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's to hold like that. So right. I suppose if you've got a mild disability in your hand, that might be better than the Aurea.
Yeah.
That I won't use that. It just depends how cheap it is. It's a free gift, so don't expect to £200 screwdriver set.
No.
But I do like that plaque. That looks really nice. So, issue 1, straight in with the build. We recommend using these tools to assemble: cutting mat, craft knife, super glue, small screwdriver tweezers, toothpicks, sandpaper. So let me just change the focus. I want to just get a bit of a longer shot. That's a bit better, isn't it? So we've got the forward section of the upper deck, the warping winch base plate, which is one of the pieces on the sprues. 2 caps, some capstan drums, capstan head. Does anybody know what capstan means? Capstan head lower part, 2 housings, the bow section of the hull, 6 bollards, a small hatch and a large hatch. And I quite like that layout. That looks quite nice, actually. Nice clear photos. Assembling the warping winch. Placing it onto the forward section of the hull. So that is, to me, that's a typical issue 1. You've got large bits, nice and simple to construct, because you don't want to be doing complicated bits on issue 1, because that might put you off buying other issues. And then there's a section on the modeler's workshop. So it's telling you your absolute perfect setup there. Right, capstan is like a fixed winch or bollard. Okay. So hammer, drill, just tells you all the things you need. And there we go, a Colossus set sail. So obviously they're going to start the story at the beginning, which is a good place. Does look a bit of a magnificent beast, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The Mad Grand Admiral. Oh, as a result of his actions as Commander-in-Chief of the Navy and his ideological support of National Socialism. Oh, he was... so he was, whoever that is, he was tried at the Nuremberg. So actually, I'm tempted to say that this is quite important, because it's bringing up history. Look at the size of that. See the character there, the person there, and then you see the ship. It's not little, is it?
No.
A few days after setting sail, Bismarck fought her last battle. She is pictured here in a painting by Olaf Reinhardt. And then coming in issue 2, we've got some small pieces. It always like to give us something electrical, don't they?
Oh, God, yeah.
Because now we're all going to go, wow, we've got an electrical part. It's not going to do anything, because there's no batteries or anything. And then we've got the Gumphy bit. We can see what kind of binder we're going to get, because it's got the same kind of staples as the Routemaster. And so easy to follow instructions. 125 centimeters long, 18 centimeters wide, 30 centimeters. Oh my God, it's going to be, wow.
Massive, isn't it?
Well, it's going to be a normal ruler. Here we are. That's how tall it's going to be, just bigger than this piece of paper. So it is going to be, I mean, you can't deny it's not going to be a magnificent model.
Did it say 125 centimeters long?
125 centimeters. So it's, what's that, about 4 foot?
Yeah, it's felt that, isn't it?
So functions at the press of a button. Does look a lot of detail.
Yeah.
The magazine series. So we've got the assembly guide, the Chronicle of Naval Warfare. Well, that looks interesting. History and Destiny, famous marine battles. The Legend of the Warship. And then you've got what's coming in the next 2 issues. We've got an aeroplane in issue 3. So I'd be honest with you. I think if there's anybody out there that doesn't keep their magazines, I might actually be interested in the mags. Not necessarily the build, but there looks like some interesting reading in there.
Yeah.
So have I whet anybody's appetite just there?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'll build it next week. We'll see what the quality is like. Love Minis would love to build it, then blow it up.
Yeah, no, it does. It looks really good. And do you know what? One, I couldn't store it anywhere. It's too long.
Yeah.
And 2, yeah, it's the cost. And as you say, it's over 140 issues.
So 140 issues. We've got so many partworks coming out. We've got Terminator, which I have subscribed to, which I might be building. I've got another project which is confirmed as going ahead today. Even you don't know this, Horlicks. I am actually going to be shipbuilding.
Whoa.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
You're going to be shipbuilding.
I am going to be shipbuilding. Yes, I am going to be building a ship that is slightly more relevant in my life than the Bismarck. Well, it's not relevant in my life, but more relevant in my family history. So I will do a big reveal later on. So maybe today we could reveal the secret project.
You keep going on about the secret project that's supposed to be secret.
Secret project. You know I'm not going to give in, don't you? Let me just double check. I haven't missed anything out. I've actually started doing a post on Facebook group saying in today's show we have this, that, and the other, and it's quite handy because it means that I can keep checking on the Facebook post to see if I've forgotten anything, and I've completely lost the post. So there we are.
Okay.
Right. Oh, painting.
Painting.
Do you want to do some painting? Oh, Dave Milne, you say Titanic. I've heard Titanic mentioned, but the only thing I've found is the Titanic lifeboat. So I don't know if there is a. Yeah, I think we had better go back through the comments. I think we've been quite selective in what we've read.
Yeah. Okay, just before I do that, okay, I'm going to give in. Our secret project, we're not going to go into it just yet. We'll do that later. But I'm going to show you all a little something. And just for a bit of fun, I want someone to see if they can guess what we're actually going to build by the time we actually announce it later. Yeah? So, we've got... These are a few bits I've printed off.
I'll just give you a bit of a background. What we're actually looking to do is, rather than commit ourselves to a big part work, we thought what we'll do is we'll find an interesting project and turn it into a sort of a part work that other people could follow along. Try to keep the costs down each week. If that means dragging it out over more weeks, then so be it. But we'll start off hopefully fairly simple, and then hopefully in a year or two we'll be doing really complex projects. So off you go. Stage is yours, Horlicks.
Okay, so this might give it away actually, but I've covered something up on one of them. So we've printed off this, which
That's
is
a list, not the actual pieces.
Yeah, this is like actually 100%. This is like what we can go by. This is actually 100% scale. So, and we've got a little parts list, and I've actually covered up what it is with a bit of paper. And there we go.
Any identifiable parts there? I can see lots of cogs.
Intriguing.
I can see a round, big, circly thing.
Yeah.
And I can see lots of, I'm going to call them Allen key shaped things, but they're not Allen keys.
And last little clue, I've actually printed 2 parts off already, and they've come out amazing. I had to adjust the 3D printer I had to fit a 0.2 nozzle on it instead of a 0.4, just so it's accurate. And I must say, these are beautiful.
We have got, they do look really nice, don't
And
they?
they work together like
Wow.
butter.
Wow, yeah.
And that has got like a half, well, yeah, it's a semicircle shape, D shape.
Right.
And that is very accurate. There's no stringing or anything, and that one is perfectly round. And on this side, I have actually I've started labeling them because there's so many
That's a
parts.
really good idea, yeah. Sol has made a guess at C3PO, and Verwain has said Orbit.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
We haven't even told Dave Say what the project is, so Dave Say is more than welcome to have a guess.
I haven't got a clue.
Okay, what do you want to do? Let people guess a bit longer, or should we just go in for the
Let people
reveal?
guess. I might even keep them guessing all the way up until we start the project. But what I'm gonna add in some really obscure clues. We've chosen this project, because we think it's simple enough project. There's a little bit of electronics, but not an awful lot. There are a lot of parts to buy, but I think it's going to be quite educational as well. So it's not just going to be something that we build and pop it on the shelf and it just sits there forever. Sol is saying Wally. I think Sol is probably the furthest out from anyone, really, isn't he?
Yeah. No, I am looking forward to it.
I am actually building the owl out of Clash of Titans, but I'm building it for Mrs. World of Wayne, and I need to crack on with that. But I'm having trouble with some of the parts because I was building it and then the printer went wrong. But yeah, we'll leave it like that for now. And but yeah, it's at the moment we're looking at about an 8-week project, because getting the parts good. We don't want to do too much. And then what that will also enable us to do is discuss elements of 3D printing with our, obviously we're not the biggest experts on 3D printing, but you could be able to get the angle from someone with our experience.
Yeah. And obviously, I mean, it might take a little bit longer than 8 weeks. I mean, we're aiming for 8 weeks, but it's quite, I wouldn't say it was easy. I mean, when we saw this project, we were like, oh, that'd be perfect. Looks really easy. But I mean, I don't think Penny's actually looked through the manual properly yet. But looking at the manual, it's actually quite involved, and parts need to be printed very accurately. Because I think, well, it will cause a problem later on. So, and another clue, I might as well give you one more clue. There is a lot of moving parts.
Hence all the cogs.
Mm.
Sol is saying Tumblebot. Sol, you're not getting any closer, are you? Right. So would you like to do some painting?
Yeah, go for it.
Right.
Yeah.
So our little figure, obviously we're not making the colors accurate. We're just painting a color. So we've got this little, I'm going to have to fiddle with the focus again and the camera position. And so, sorry, this is what I end up doing all the time. So that's about the focal point I want. Right, I think that's about right. So move the camera back. Right. Okay, so what we've done last week is we've given it an all-over coat of grey, and then we've given it the wash. What the wash has done is it's run into the recesses and making the lower areas a little bit darker. So what it's also done is given an overall darker color on the main areas. So what I'm going to do for the next stage is I'm going to bring back the main upper areas to a lighter colour, back to the original. And I'm just going to use the original paint that I've used, which in this case is Dawnstone. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this much thinner than I normally would. Take it at the most basic level. You just paint and it's, oh, this camera's, that's better. So if you just paint and go blah, 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 that's fine. But I'm going to try and take it slightly, what's the word I'm looking for, to a higher level. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to slightly over thin my paint. So I've got more water than paint there. And what that's going to do is it's going to make the paint much thinner. So it's not actually going to cover as much. And what you're looking for is if you paint over something with color, it's not a good thing to paint on, but you can still see the red underneath where I've painted. So that's probably about right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go almost to the deepest recess, and we're just going to give that, bring that down to the outer edge. I'm not going to do all of this. Sorry guys, you didn't see that, did you? Do another bit. Let me do his face and neck. So I call this painting by numbers because the darker, the more wash has pulled, the darker it is, the less you want to paint that. So just go over the raised areas, leaving the recessed areas. In fact, I'm going to do that detail on his shoulder because that's going to really pop then. You see, I'm not going all the way down to the deeper recesses. Okay, you can see that his neck and face is just popping a little bit more. And then this panel there is starting to pop. And let's do his knee. And because this is thin, this is actually drying a lot quicker. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go over it again, but I'm now not going to go quite as deep as I went before. So I'm going to sort of about a third I'm going to paint. So what we're going to get is a graduated. That makes sense. I'm doing this quite quickly, but so you see that this pad there is now starting to brighten even more. And then once that's dry, we can go over it again, but we're only going to come right up to near the edge, so that as we get closer to the edges and higher up, the color's going to get a little bit lighter because we're covering up more of the color from underneath. There we go. So you can see, especially there, it's a little bit light there, but as it gets closer to the edge, it gets lighter and lighter. So now you've got more of a feel of the depth. And then once that's dry, there's two ways to do this. We can either get a color that will go with it, or we can just lighten the color. Yes, Chris, we were talking about you earlier. I will come to that in a bit. So what I'm going to do now is you can either use a lighter grey, or if you want to be a little bit risky, go for white. And we just add a little bit. I'm trying to find a good white now. There we go. I'm going to use Vallejo model color. excuse me, it doesn't matter that you're mixing and matching brands. Obviously, as you paint more with different brands, you understand how they handle differently. So a Citadel white might be stronger than, say, a Vallejo white, for example. So what we're going to do, I'm not going to, oh, that's not mixed up properly. I'm not going to put the white straight into the grey. I'm going to make a little pile of it, and then I can just add it as I want. That's better. Right, so I've got my little pile of white, I've got my little pile of grey. So we'll just pull some grey out and we'll put just a tiny touch of white. If I think that's a little bit too light, I can then just pull more grey in. If I've now put more grey in, then I can just put a touch more white in. And I can just keep going until I've got the colour that I want. And you can see there that I've got just a slightly lighter grey. It's not a massive difference. And then what I'm going to do, this next bit is what we call edge highlighting. So what we're going to do is any sharp edges we have, we're just going to hit that with a tiny, tiny line. Just along, in fact, actually I want that a bit lighter. I really want it to pop. So there we go. So just hit the edges. Just gives it a sense of sharpness. Let's see if I can hit the face with it. So really sharp edges. We're just going to hit the outside. This is actually quite fiddly to do, but the results are actually really good. So I don't know if you can see that face just starting to pop just a little bit more. The paint's just a little bit dry. If you've got a warm room, the paint does dry rather quickly. So right, so a little bit along the neck. Still a bit dry, isn't it? Am I in focus, guys?
I think so.
Oh, I'm not doing very well on the cameras here, am I? There we go. So I can't seem to get that edge done. So any detail we've got, just hit the top edge, just where light would hit it. There we go. So it's just made that detail pop that much more. We've got a variation of colours, even though we're effectively using the same colour. But by adding multiple layers and just lighten it slightly. One area that this is really effective is actually the fingers. I love doing fingers. Just hit a tiny line along there. It just makes the fingers pop out. So I've just read Sol's comment. Yeah, so Chris Campbelling, where you got mentioned was in the Build the Routemasters group. We were talking about the lady that we got and her hand position. Horlicks, are you in a position to pull up the picture of next week again? If not, I'll pull the magazine. In fact, I'll show you on here. I'll don't know if you can see it very well. But if you look at the position of her hand, and it's slightly open like that, like she's holding on to something. And we just thought, well, we know someone that's very good at innuendos. And who was the first person we thought of with it when it comes to innuendos? Right, so does that help anybody?
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's just like, I mean, obviously, if I painted him the correct colours and then shaded and highlighted and edge highlighted, it would look more amazing. I've just gone for simplicity of using one colour, but basically we've gone from that, which is a nice finish. I'm happy with that finish, but we've taken it to there.
Wow.
It's taken a lot longer. You know, you've got to put more effort into it, and you won't get it done in 5 minutes, but
Yeah.
I think the results are worth it.
Yeah.
And it's once I mean, painting is what I found is it's all about practice. Love Minis is probably laughing her head off right now, because there's many a times when I've gone, oh, I can't do this. It's too dark, too difficult. And then all of a sudden I'm doing it, and bang, it's just come in. And I'm like, oh, that was really simple. And as one thing that she always drills into me is it's practice, practice, practice. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. It's not, I won't say it's not skill, but most of it is actually practice. So if you fancy having it, I mean, you can get a really good paint job just by putting a base coat all over. And I'm not taking anything away from people that do that. But just by adding a little bit of a highlight, you want to bring your dark areas darker and your light areas lighter, and it just gives that contrast. So Horlicks, I am drinking my cream soda here.
Good.
Right. So, is there anything else we haven't covered?
So I think I've just seen some comments as well that you may be able to answer, Penny. Sol and Chris are asking if anyone subscribed to a partwork via PayPal, and I think you have, haven't you, Penny?
I actually have, yes.
And they want to know how it works and what happens and etc.
My model space collections are subscribed via PayPal, and it actually sets up forget what they call it, but they just automatic. Basically, you're authorizing that company to take money on a regular basis in exactly the same way as a direct debit. And then all of a sudden I'll sit there and I'll receive an email that says, "Congratulations, you have paid model space $39.99 or whatever." So yeah, I find it really convenient. The only problem was I subscribed to the R2D2 and I decided not to go beyond pack 1. So I sent a message to Model Space. I'm just trying to find a bit of kitchen roll. I sent a message to Model Space to say cancel it. And then 2 months later, I had a payment go out of my account for £36, £37, whatever. And obviously that's an amount I don't recognise. So I rang Model Space and I said, we established it was for R2D2 Pack 2. And I said, oh, I subscribed, I cancelled via your online form. And she went, oh, I've heard that one before. So, but what she's told me to do is refuse the package that I got, which I've done. That then goes back, and then they issue a refund. So, whereas if it was direct debit, you've got the direct debit guarantee, and you'd probably get your money back within 24 hours. So, but yeah, I mean, I love PayPal. Ever since I first heard about it, probably about 10 or so years ago, and I just like PayPal because if I pay you, for example, Horlicks, I'm not giving you my details. and you're not giving me my details. We're both giving our details to a middleman, which for me works. When I did the hill, it looked rubbish, my skill.
Oh, the hull.
Oh, the hull, sorry. Yeah, is that because of planks and things, though? Which is something that I'm going to have to learn to do, because just trying wondering whether to show you what I'm doing. No, I'm not going to show you, because I have a habit of changing my mind, but I am going to be doing a ship. So I want to just check the comments, because I have been told check the comments. So
yeah, so he's just said even though you don't have any money in PayPal, but what will happen is PayPal will actually directly take it from your bank to make the funds up.
Pay. I don't author. You've got a thing called e-check, and then what they will do is you owe them the money, and then if your money doesn't come out of your account within a certain length of time, the sender doesn't get their money, so they don't send. But they're told payment will clear in so many days. You're advised not to send goods out until it's cleared. I've had that with eBay before, where someone has actually paid, but the funds hadn't been cleared, so they said do not wait until 20th of February or whatever. So you then dispatch the goods then. But I don't do that, because I've either got the money or I haven't, and I'm good at, well, you've seen my budget, and haven't you, Horlicks? I know what I'm doing in the next, as long as I want, because I do this little budget, so I know what I'm earning. So, right. So can we see your build, Dave? Say, please.
My build, yeah, it's behind me.
Yeah.
Here we go. Look.
I see you're having the same problems with the gaps in the panels that I've got.
Yeah, same problems with the gaps.
But there's nothing holding them together, though, is there? So
no,
I think once we get the panels in,
we will get them eventually. We will get the panels to cover them, and then of course all the front end, unmodified but painted, obviously. And I haven't got a number plate on it yet, because I'm going to get a custom made number plate done for this one.
Are you going with the same registration, or are you going with a different one?
No, I'm going with a different registration.
Right.
It'll be 871, I think. RM871. And that's because RM871 was in East Yorkshire Motor Company.
Right.
So, once it left London. In actual fact,
you are going for as much historical accuracy as you possibly can.
Yes, I am. Yes, RM871 is actually still running in London, because London bought it back.
Right.
After it went to East Yorkshire Motor Company. So but yeah, that's mine.
Could we get a picture of you with your finished bus sitting on the actual bus?
That would be quite difficult, because that bus is in London. So
right, guys, I'm going to set up a Just Giving page or a Patreon page, and we are going to save up to send Dave down to London with his bus, sit on the bus.
Well, if you did that, I'd take Mrs. Dave's bus as well. So, and
and Mrs. Dave.
Yeah, and Mrs. Dave. Yeah, we'd take her, and then next time I'm on, I might put Mrs. Dave's bus up here.
That would be great.
You can have a look at her build then as well, can't you? Because in actual fact, she's only one behind me now. So, because I was lagging behind until the other night, and I set to, and I thought, right, I'm not having this. I'll have I'll have mine up to date, or more or less up to date. And as you can see from this, I've actually just painted the front panel, and
finish on that is amazing. Did you brush that or did you spray it?
No, it's with spray cans.
Right.
It's with rattle cans. And I've just painted that front panel, and there's a cream band to go on there, just where the side light is.
It's going to be so difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult to do, because as you know, on the other side of the cab,
I'm actually going to cheat with mine, because where the cream meets the green, to make sure I've got a straight edge, I'm lucky because they've got these little black semicircle bits. So what I'm going to so I'm going to get the lines as straight as I can, but I'm going to cover that joint up with that little beading on the side. So cheating if you want. But yeah, I'd be interested to see how because I personally, I mean, I obviously I'll use masking tape.
Yeah.
But where I would worry is where you paint it, you're then going to get this little line, whereas I want a smooth finish.
Yeah.
So
well,
that's what I was going to cheat with beads.
I've got a similar problem with this on the other side of the cab. I can't show you now, but there is a hard line there, and because on this I've got 3 yellow bands to do.
Right.
On my bus.
So where are you getting your spray cans from?
Spray cans are from a company called Sayers in Northampton.
Okay.
And it's quite expensive paint, and but I've got a little bit to take me to perhaps halfway.
But you don't mind paying the money if you get good quality, though, do you?
Well, I've got the quality. As you can see, it shines. It shines like the proverbial on a blanket. So it really does. It really is nice paint. And I sprayed the front today actually, and it's only been 8 degrees out here. So and it's taken to it lovely. So I'm quite happy. Right. So I've got the issue to do what we've done tonight. To finish that off, but I have that little bit of yellow paint to go on the front there near the side light. And whilst we're on the side light, the near side light, I'm quite disgruntled that we haven't got no electricity to it.
Okay.
If that was the real bus, we'd be looking at a PG9, which is effectively taking the bus off the road, because the side light isn't working. And, you know, surely they should have organised something to go in there. I'm not sure whether I could do it. I could modify that to work that.
I've not looked at it with the plan of modifying it, but at the moment I can't see anything. If I sat down and looked at it,
I think it depends. Yeah, I think. Do you know what? I think it is really, really easily done. If depending on the gap between the 2 panels, then you could just whack an LED in there and just run some wires, put some wires on it, and run it down. I think it would be really easy to do.
Could you build? Sorry. Could you build like an interior bulge so that you could give yourself more room inside, so you could put a light in?
Yeah, could do. As it depends how it fits. I might have a look at it, but it would be really simple, because then you could just, if a LED did fit behind there, you could just secure it somehow.
Yeah.
Or even with a bit of masking tape or electrical tape, just so the LEDs by the lens.
Yeah.
Or put it in, and then, or even hot glue.
Well, one idea I had, which may not work, if you can't get a bulb in there, do you think you might be able to get a bit of fibre optic tubing behind it? Then you could have the bulb wherever you want, because the light will travel.
Yeah, could do that.
Yeah.
But I'm silently confident that an LED would fit in there, because looking at the gap on the side, it's not completely flush, is it?
No.
So give given Horlicks that I do believe you said about the blocks bus, it would be really, really hard to put an LED in. And you
Yeah.
also said that caravan was going to be hard.
Yeah. That was that was really hard, but there's pretty much no room in there for an LED at all. The LEDs are so tiny.
But the point I'm making there is that you've done something that you said would be probably too difficult. So I
Yeah,
don't think it's possible.
yeah. And then I think, and then what I suppose what you could do is then run that LED, run a long enough cable, sandwich it between the two panels to behind that red bulge at the front, and then maybe connect it to one of the other bulbs, or just join it up to the wiring somewhere.
Just join it up to, that's what I was thinking, was if you could just simply join it to the wires that are very near to the base there, very near to the chassis.
So providing an LED fits behind there, I think it'll be a really easy mod.
Do LEDs come in just one size, or can you get them very, very tiny?
Yeah, you can get different size LEDs. I think they do 2 mil, don't they? 3 mil, 4 mil, 5 mil.
I've got 3 mil and 5 mil. I may not necessarily have the right colours, but that's. I always have to use tweezers with these because I can't get my fingers in there. Right, that's a 5 mil, which is obviously 5 mil. Let me.
Yes, I think that would be far too big.
Far too big, yeah. So would a 3 mil do it then?
I think a 3 mil would, because that's the 3 mil.
Oh yeah.
And you can bend these legs.
Yeah.
And they do a smaller one, I think, because it's a shame because it's not a shame. I used when I was building the DeLorean, they issued us with the wrong coloured LEDs on the top, and they were really small LEDs.
Yeah.
And I could have used them, but I've got them in my Volkswagen now. I've used them in that to save waste in them, but I think these are 2. So I reckon. Yeah, the smallest one. I suppose just on eBay. I suppose just have to look for the smallest LED. I think it's a mil.
Dave Miller suggested joining the wires from the left headlight up to the. What is the purpose of that particular light?
It's a side light.
It is a side light.
Yeah.
So it would go on with the headlights, but it wouldn't be as strong as the headlight.
Going with the side lights, yeah.
I think if we used a low voltage cheap bulb and then connected it up with the headlight, I think that could work.
Yeah, of course it could, yeah.
The only issue you've got then is getting the bulb in there. You don't got to worry about the wiring because that'll go down. Yeah. Love Minis said my favourite word, Banggood. I love Banggood. They're a couple of weeks delivery, but they're so cheap.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just going to try and catch up. I apologise if I miss any of the comments. We've let so much go. I know someone said about Mike Anderson being after issue 49, and someone. Yeah, I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to skip past that one. So looks very good. Enjoying the build so much. I don't want it to end. I agree with you there, Roger. I don't know if you're still watching. I mean, we're not even halfway through, and I'm worrying about when we finish because I'm enjoying this so much, and I love my Wednesdays, and I can't wait. I've said it before, but I go running to W.H. Smith's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Oh, I've got my magazine. And one day it's going to come to an end, and I'm sad just thinking about that. Steve Hyson is saying about getting some surgical gloves for fitting the windows. I do actually have some, and maybe I should have used them. I I won't say where I got them from, just in case anyone from work is watching. Some suggested Tamiya RC truck. They look good, but not sure. Oh, that's about builds, is it? Stuart Sullivan's still at work. Adrian Langley says he thinks the panels might be 2 or 3. Steve Lee's not watching now, but hello, Steve. He's off. So can we see your build? Try smoking near. It's meant to look like nicotine. Fighter Sweeper's gloss varnish to cream color. Gave it a sheen. It needs for the yellow tint and the varnish darkened the color. Looks good. Chris Campling says, "How come?" Right, I cocked up on the R2D2 video. I didn't get the intros done, and it didn't load up properly, and I had a really I know it sounds daft, but I couldn't. The only overtime I could get on Saturday was a late shift. So I finished at 20 to midnight, and it just completely screwed me up for the whole weekend, and nothing got done properly. Well, nothing got done. Let's be fair. Yeah, I really shouldn't have said nothing, because I know that's insulting your intelligences, because you'll all know us, but I just thought ride with it, and I'll put it out next week and get it sorted out. So yeah, Fleetwood J says, I like the look of the figure. It goes well with the diorama. Love Minnie said England swings. Her and the bloke, the Avengers. Purdy to go. Yeah, do you know what? I never thought of that, because yeah, that could well be the Avengers, couldn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, never thought of that one.
John Steed.
Yeah, Steed. Was that Patrick
Patrick Moore, yeah. Was it?
No, it wasn't Patrick Moore, was it?
No.
Patrick. I want to say Patrick McNee.
Patrick McNee, yeah.
Right. Chris Campling started building the Bismarck a while ago when it was with D'Agostini. I didn't do the hull very well, so I gave up. Verwaina says hello. I'll be honest with you, I've lost track of the context of the chat. Dave Mills said if it was the hood, yes. Hi Verwain, can you put one on it yourself? You need loads of wood glue. I would not mind doing a ship, but where would you keep it once it's built? Daniel Simpson, you know me. I go into these builds without actually thinking about the consequences of what I'm going to do with it when it's finished. I'm going to have to win the lottery and buy a 2-bedroom house, but 1 bedroom is going to have to be the size of a field to get everything in. So yeah, I do have a habit of not thinking about the consequences. Fighter Sweep. Dave Mill, my mate was on that raid. They disabled Bismarck by damaging the hudders. The ships finished her off. Oh, so it's like pulling the wings off of Daddy Longlegs, and then it's just easy to kill after that. Carol Webster's been watching from the start. Hi, Carol. Capson is like fixed windshield bollard. I love that. So my comment of the week there is Love Mini says, I'd love to build it, then blow it up. Would you really want to blow up a £1,500 model, though? I've got a half-built Endeavour. Paul, I might take you up on that offer, actually. A half-built Endeavour. Because... And Dave Mills just given a half-built Endeavour and Victory away. The ship that I'm doing... I'll tell you what, I will... No, it's going to take ages to load up. Right. Bear with me. I'll see if I can find it. I will tell you what I'm planning on building. It's not a major model. It's of a price range that if I cocked it up, it's really not going to be the end of the world. No, I can't find it. It's not the. I see they got the Victory. Oh, I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Right. It's £189 for the full kit. Now I'll keep it. Oh, there we go. Right. Okay, my system has really slowed down. There we go. Right. No, wrong one. Sorry, you know I'm not great at controlling these. Right, share screen. Right, so this is what I'm looking at buying. It's the Hermione Lafayette. It's £189. And I figure if I completely cock it up, it's not really going to be the end of the world. It looks a lot of detail. And it's something that was involved with the American War of Independence, I believe. There's a lot of new skills in there. There's the planks. There's the tying the knots. What do you think, guys?
Looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does look good. I would like to. So we had this discussion yesterday, didn't we? I would like to try one, but I just don't think I've got. I just don't think I can do it. I'd be too scared I was going to mess it up.
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm taking that on because for that very reason. I don't know how long it's going to take to load, but some of these. There we go. Right. So Sovereign of the Seas is that £849?
Yeah.
Now, if I cop that one up,
Victory, yeah, as well.
yeah. But I mean, look at the detail on that. There's an awful lot to cock up on that one.
Oh yeah.
I really don't want to take that one on until I know that A, I can do ships, and B, I know I'm good at it. If I don't possess the skills, it's totally pointless me taking that on.
Yeah.
And I would just, if I just had to ditch it, I think I would just cry. So that's but yeah, I mean, a half-built Endeavour, you know, that might be a good something to take on, but I don't know the skill level of it. You know, maybe I'm taking on too much with the Hermione. I don't know, but you know, if you don't push yourself, you don't ever know, do you?
Yeah.
So we've got all the little guesses at the project. Oh, Sol's just sent me a photo.
So I've just so just go back very, very slightly. The LED that we were talking about for the bus, I've actually found these which are very reasonable, and these will be good for maybe if you don't know how to solder or you're not comfortable soldering. These have already got the wires already soldered on with a resistor.
Oh, that'd be handy.
And it's these ones here, and they do warm white. For £5, it's £2.60, and it's got the resistors and wires already done. So all you'd have to do. So all you'd have to do is tuck them in, find somewhere for the wire to go, and then just join it up with something else.
Wow, that's brilliant. I wondered if you could send me that link, please.
Yeah, I can do. I mean, there's quite a few on there. You might, I'll send you this one. Maybe just have a browse either side, because I think you get cheaper. I mean, you can just buy one on its own, which is like £1.35. But
where does it ship from?
Pardon?
Where does it ship from?
Oh yeah, there's that. This particular one, Broxbourne, Hertfordshire.
Okay. That's not so bad.
So you get that in a couple of days. Oh, that's brilliant then.
Yeah.
Price, that delivery time.
And that's for the smaller one. So there's the three sizes.
Yeah. The smaller one would be the best, I think.
Yeah, so that's obviously 3, 5, and 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
brilliant.
unfortunately, I mean, obviously you're a lot ahead of me, so I can't even try and practice myself and then relay the message on, because everyone's going to be doing this before I get to it. and they're going to want to build it and get it done. So it's going to be trial and error for yourself.
Yeah.
I would say at £2.60. Is that including the postage or is that extra?
I think it's free postage. Yeah, free.
Yeah.
I think that's worth a gamble.
Course
I mean,
yeah.
you would go into McDonald's and try a new burger at that price, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course you would. Yeah.
So, you know, and
I think, yeah, do you know what? I am very quietly confident this will work. When you put that lens on, Penny, did it have the hole inside of it as well?
how do you mean?
Like, because it was convex, wasn't it, or whatever you want to call it?
Bear with me a sec.
I'm pretty sure there was a little bit of room.
A little gap in there. So I'm thinking, because you can bend the legs on those LEDs, obviously, bend them right back at 90 degrees, and then shove the LED inside, and then bolt it together. And I think the actual pressure of the two parts together will just keep that in place.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. Yeah.
I don't think there'd be a problem at all.
Right, I'll see if I can get this into camera view. It's going to be difficult to get to it now I've built it, especially with some of my screws stripping. But I think you've got about that much gap. So if I try and...
Oh, easy.
Oh, yeah.
But then the only other problem is getting the LED light to match. So it's difficult. In an ideal world, if you had a spare issue with another LED in it, we know you'd have the same light or LED that they use.
Yeah.
But then £8.99 or £7.99 is a lot of money just to grab an LED out of something.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if that helps at all.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's kind of the size we're looking at.
I mean,
could we shave it off the top of the LED without affecting it?
I'm not sure, but I don't think you'd need to, because obviously the LED would poke into the lens a little bit, and then if you turn the legs of the LED at 90 degrees, I think that'll be fine.
I've just been hit with a few messages over Facebook. Can I just show you this before? Because this has got to be worth showing. This is sent to me by Sol.
Oh.
I really like that. So, anyway, the message I just got was by, I think it's Fleetwood. I made this using a 3mm LED. Going to try it in the side light. Right. If you could feed back to us on that, then that would be absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
That would really help. Because it's always fun when you can do your own nothing wrong with people like Mike Lane and that who do modifications. But if you can do your own modification, that's always, for me, that gives me more of a sense of I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rather than you paid somebody to do it. Or...
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you can't or you won't, then that's fine.
That's fine too, yeah. But
yeah. Right. So next week, obviously, we're not going to have a proper build in the conventional sense. So obviously, we're going to have the Bismarck. We're going to have hopefully the Terminator. I'm really looking forward to the Terminator. Again, it's one of those I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Guest wise, I've got two guests. I've got a completely and utterly different guest in my mind. Even the person who I'm thinking of doesn't know I'm going to ask them yet. So I'm not gonna name names because I don't want to sort of put any pressure or insult them. But I've got a couple of people. I want to try and get a guest on as often as I can. I think it's so much more fun when we have guests on, especially Dave Say. Maybe we can have Dave Say on every other week, and then somebody else all the rest. But yeah, I mean, we've started now. This is how I thought it was going to go. Nobody, it's natural human behavior that nobody wants to be the first. Once you've got your first guest on, people are starting to say, "Oh, that looks fun. I want to go on."
Yeah.
So it's yeah, there's a few more people. Maybe Chris, we could get you on as well. So, but yeah, that Terminator looks brilliant, and I love all the free gifts for it as well, like the police car and everything. But we'll get to see it all next week. If anybody wants me to go over any more painting, I can. But I am planning on doing some painting as a live stream once a week. But I'm also going to get that kicked in on my Twitch channel. I know a lot of you guys are uneasy with Twitch, but I urge you to give it a go. You just creep in slowly. It's a slightly different format, and I find it tends to, they're not so how do I put it? It's, you can play more games on there, and we have music requests, and all right, they do have copyright, and they tend to cut bits out of the video when you play them back. But I mean, people just come on my channel and they just put a song request on, and it's just I do love the format of Twitch, and there's so much more you can do. I mean, I did last May. I did a 24-hour paint stream for my birthday, and very good fun. Very tiring. Gave some things away. And yeah, it was just good fun. But yeah, so I am going to bring a bit more painting onto YouTube. Because let's face it, my channel name is Paint with Penny, and what do I actually paint? So, is there anything else anyone can think of?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Are we gonna reveal this project, or are we gonna leave it? Because there's been
I'll
some
leave it totally up
guesses.
to you. You know me, I'm a wind-up merchant, so I'm quite happy to have people hanging in the lurch.
Yeah, I
And then
think.
not anything. Or what do you? Well, they're obviously going to say, "Oh, please reveal."
Well,
I will give one clue. One person has actually got it correct on the chat.
two. I've seen two. So
Right.
I think based on that, we should just let it out.
Oh, go on then.
Because someone knows now. So
Let's reveal it. I think it's a fairly simple project. It's something that has some use.
right, hang on, I'll play the video in a sec.
Okay, you won't. Well, there'll be no sound, obviously.
No.
How YouTube works, but
Let me just get it ready.
don't forget your screen share.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, bear with me 2 seconds. Right, yeah. Ready? And go.
Oh, wow.
So that is our plan.
Brilliant.
And you even get the advert with it as well.
Brilliant. Is it run by a battery?
I think it's main. Well, no, it's
USB.
USB. Yeah.
We need to we need to dissect a USB cable to fit that in.
Yeah.
Well, they sell those at Poundland.
Yeah, you just get a USB cable. You cut the end off, and then there's 4 wires in there. You've got black, red, white, and green. You cut the white and green away because you don't need them, and you just use the black and red.
Wow.
And then it just uses. It's just one motor.
Yeah.
And it is really quite simple with the electronics. We were a little bit worried about the brass rods because they are quite expensive, and I'm still apprehensive about the way we bend them because they have to be bent precisely.
Yeah, I think that's quite easy, actually. I was talking to someone at work about it today.
Right. I mean, push come to shove, I could probably take it into work, and they could. I don't know if they can do anything that small.
In the
But obviously-
manual, it actually says just to do it with a pair of pliers.
all right, fair enough then.
So,
Can't be that bad.
but yeah, that's what the plan is. Obviously, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Looking at, yeah,
A lot of parts, yeah. Can see
Um,
why.
that's going to be the hard. But I'm worried that each week we're going to literally just be going, hit right. We've printed these cogs off. That's the end of this week.
Yeah.
So we're trying to rearrange the build order so that we've got some. Like we're going to do the base the first week. So what we'll actually be doing, the format will hopefully be take the parts that we printed last week. This is what we're going to do with them, and then get these parts ready for next week. But obviously, episode 1 is going to be this is what we've already printed, and then we're going to do it. So it'll probably be just base the first week. So it won't actually be anything awesome apart from the base.
Yeah.
But we just think that's a nice, simple one.
Yeah.
And then if that idea goes down really well, we can then obviously expand that into more complex projects. And then hopefully other people can join in, so we can say, right, get these parts printed ready for next week, and we'll see you next week, you know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it should be really good fun.
yeah, I think so. And we'll have our usual arguments and stuff and bad tempers, and I'll throw things across the room because they don't work properly.
But obviously there's two ways of doing it. You can either just have a normal model, or you can actually light the sun up, which I think, well, that's the option I'm going down.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've ordered all the parts, well, most of them, apart from the brass rods. I ordered all the bearings today. Now, I couldn't believe one bearing in particular, which was this 683ZZ. You need 14 of those, and they are really expensive. They were the dearest bearing out of all of those, and I think it's because they're more common. And it was looking at like £2, £2, and it, you know, each one, so it was coming to like 30 odd quid. But obviously, as we do the project, we can share where we got stuff from. But I've actually managed to get them from Banggood.
The one rule that I'm insisting on is very much the same as my R2. We'll give it a budget of about £10 a week. Anything that we don't spend, we can carry over to another week. So if we need something for, say, £20, we can spend like £2 or £3 a week, and then until we've built up £20.
Yeah.
But I don't want this to be high. I mean, obviously we can do high cost things, but if they're high cost, then they'll get done over many, many weeks, like my R2.
Yeah.
So, but this one we're thinking roughly. Do you think it's going to be less than? I mean, you've done a lot more research into the parts, but do you think it's definitely going to be less than 80, including the filament?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've had to order the bearings from Banggood, and they take a while to come. So, I mean, I recommend trying to get them as soon as possible.
So, if we introduce the project and do the simple thing first, and then tell people this is what you need to order, but we won't need them for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah. But to be fair, the dearest thing, I mean, I haven't looked up all of the brass tubes yet, but the dearest thing I've had to buy for this project, which actually is the only dearest thing, is probably the slip ring.
Right.
And that was £7.
Oh, that's not the end of the world.
It's not dear, but it's the dearest thing so far individually. And that's so we can have the LEDs working while it spins, because obviously, you know, the wires will otherwise get twisted up. But that's going to be a bit of a challenge in itself, which we'll have to work together with Penny, because on the looking through, there's not actually any proper fixings for it. There was a sort of an afterthought, so it's a case of bodging it in the best we can that's going to fit.
But isn't bodging what we do best?
Well, yeah, exactly. it's just I'm just slightly nervous of the unknown because I don't want to get all that way and find we have a problem. But
so long as people understand that we're giving this a go, this is a new venture for us. It will either work or it won't. If it doesn't work, we'll simplify the next project. If it works really well, we can start looking at more advanced stuff.
yeah,
The comments, I mean, all right, you guys, you've given some really positive comments on it. Beautiful, that's cool, that's neat. How do you think you guys would feel if we gave it a go and we got right to the end and it doesn't work? How would you guys feel robbed, or would you? I mean, I guess most of you are smart people, so you're quite you're quite happy to give us comments and say, oh, try this. So I see this as it won't be myself and Horlicks working on the project. There'll be about 50 of us working on the project. That's how I see it.
mm.
And Stuart says,
I can't see you ever doing that. I can't see you ever saying that because, like, as you just said, there's about 50 people working on the project. So
yeah.
there's going to be a solution somewhere.
I mean, what I've noticed with this Routemasters build is obviously, I guess the majority of us are Routemasters builders, and that's obviously primarily what I'm aiming this show at. But we've got a lot of people that are just enthusiasts of buses. They're not building it. And then you've got people that are just interested in watching either myself or watching Horlicks or both. They're not interested in the build. They don't care about it, but they just enjoy being part of the show. But yeah, Love Minnie says she doesn't think I'll quit till it works.
I wouldn't quit till it works.
No, right. I've said this before. I'm sorry if I sound boring. Not the Christmas gone, but the one before. There's a painter on YouTube and Twitch called Next Level Painting, and all right, he does make things look annoyingly easy. You know he's very good, which is why it all looks easy. But he talks about one thing he says a lot is be brave. And I decided last year to make my New Year's resolution to be brave. And chirp in at any point, Love Minis, if you want. I think my painting over the next 12 months had more than doubled. My painting's not perfect. I won't win awards, but it's so much better than it was the year before. And that was just simply by having a go. And the reason I'll have a go is I know how to strip paint off miniatures. So the worst case scenario is that I paint something badly, I have to strip it all off and start again, which actually isn't a bad thing, is it?
No.
So, and this year it's a little bit different resolution, but I'm still continuing that resolution. Be brave. It's so much fun when you give stuff a go and you think, I don't think I'll be able to do it, but I'll give it a go. And it comes out. I mean, go back a year ago. Who would have thought that I'd be building? Well, no, look at me R2. Whoever would have thought I'd be building R2D2? I still don't know if I'll do it. I still haven't got a clue. It might completely fail, but I'm giving it a go, and I'm pleased with the results I've got.
Yeah, that's really good.
I think that's like most of us. I mean, most of us on here. I do know a couple of people that watch this stream that are friends that have done nothing like this before. Painting them or building them or doing dioramas or anything like that. They've done nothing like this before. And I think, with a little bit of help with one another, we're doing miracles. We really are.
Yeah.
And we're encouraging a hobby that, well, it's got to be better than going down drugs or drink, hasn't it?
Gotta be. Anything that keeps us out of trouble.
Yeah.
So Stupid Sullivan saying an amazing achievement getting this far. I mean, look, I'll show. I wasn't going to show you this because it's not finished, but this is a print I'm working on. I'll change the camera angles. It's a little puzzle box, and I just saw it and I thought I've got to give it a go. So it's kind of come apart. So obviously you've got a lid on it, and you can't see. You've got some panels that will go over the front, so all of this will be covered. And the way you open it is you have to slide that across, and then you have to pull this panel out, and then out pops a key.
Brilliant.
Then you put that back in, push that in, push that. Oh, sorry, you've lost me. I'll just kind of go backwards a little bit. So once you've got your key out, that panel goes in, you move that one across, then this panel will come down to reveal the keyhole, and then you put the key in and it opens the lid. And yeah, who thought I'd be making stuff like this a year ago? I mean, this is quite simple.
Brilliant.
But even the spring is printed. The only thing you need that you can't print is the catch. It needs a little spring that you just pull that out of a pen, and you put that into there, so that when you open the key, it's going to naturally spring back.
Yeah.
But everything I print, obviously, I'm looking at the design, and all that's going to do is just pushes it across. Look.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at these designs, and I'm looking at way of modifying them, using them for another project. These panels, they're actually failing because the way they come out on the, they're actually one piece, and they look like that. And what's happening with my printer is when it gets to about that stage, it's starting to pull it off the print bed. So I'm going into a different program. I'm going to get these files, and I'm going to split them, and I'm going to move them around so that they print on the print bed like that. But I'll show you the lid. I'm going to go over to DigiCam now, as I call it. Actually, my printer's been behaving really nicely tonight. It's been nice and quiet, but you know I don't like to have it running on a Wednesday. But this is printing sideways, but if you look at the detail on that, see the butterflies and the detail around the side.
Yeah.
It looks messy because there's a lot of support.
Brilliant.
But it just looks absolutely, man. They do a Korean version as well. So, but yeah, it's little stuff like that. And obviously I'm not just, it's like the Arduino projects as well. Obviously I take the code that's already been written by somebody. Move that up. But I don't just copy it and pop it in and leave it. I do actually look at the code and then go, well, if I took this, I change that variable, I can make that bit go faster or slower or whatever. So yeah, but so this is all just giving it a go. I didn't think I could use a 3D printer until I gave it. Well, I nearly couldn't, could I, Horlicks?
No. As Chris said, the cogs will have to be printed accurately. Yeah, I've said earlier, I've actually this evening changed my nozzle. Obviously, I've got a fairly good printer, well, a very good printer, and I've actually put the nozzle size down to 0.2 just to make these very accurate, and they are absolutely perfect. It's not very big. You can't get a really good close-up view, but they're absolutely perfect, and they work. They work as they should. Obviously, it's hard to simulate, but I've done it on the table. But yeah, I've got no issues with my print quality here. And Penny has got some amazing print qualities when her printer decides to work properly, because she had a shiny bottom.
I did have a shiny bottom.
And I've only just had one today.
Yeah, that's official. Horlicks has had his first shiny bottom.
I've got a shiny bottom. You can just see it shining. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Well, I'll give you a quick preview of what a shiny bottom is and isn't. So this is the print surface with hairspray, and it's quite nice. And But what you tend to get is where I've had other prints on the bed, you've got little marks on there. But that's obviously the way it goes. But if you can print with no hairspray at all, that's what you end up with.
Wow.
That's a shiny bottom, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
And no, it's not within reach. There's that's not a shiny.
The R2D2 blue bit was the best bit, wasn't it?
Oh, that was amazing, wasn't it?
That looked like it come out of a factory.
Yeah. Stuart Sullivan's had shiny elbows. This is actually the holder for the sword that I'm doing. So, which reminds me, is it the 18th of April? Game of Thrones comes back. I cannot wait. Sorry, I am a massive Game of Thrones fan. Right, so it's going to work, no question. Okay, Sol has faith in us. Stuart Sullivan says it's all about the attempt. Steve Graham says there's always a way. Still an amazing achievement getting this far, Penny. That's awesome, incredible, shiny elbows, and that crest is brilliant. Yeah, this crest is actually done on a fairly low quality print, quite high speed. There are imperfections if you have a look closely, but from sort of a reasonable distance, it looks really, really nice, and the posts have come out really well. So, yeah, so I'm happy with that. Right, guys. So I think it's time to say goodbye because, as always, we've gone over. One day we might do a show that's exactly 2 hours long, but I doubt it'll be anytime soon. Oh, I never thought of that. To shine plastic up, I run a blowtorch over the plastic fast. See, now what I've thought of doing, rather than making the shiny bit shiny, just give it a quick rub with some sandpaper to dull it all to the same. And if you want it shiny, then obviously you paint it. A lot of this stuff I'm going to be doing, I paint anyway. Right, so if there is no other business, I'm going to say goodbye. So I'm going to... Can you guys think of anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okie dokie. So in that case, it's good night from me. It's good night from Horlicks.
Yes, good night. Have a good evening.
And it's good night from Dave. Always happy to see you, Dave.
It's good night from me. Tune in next week.
Definitely, because we're looking forward to that figure, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. Swinging 60s.
Yeah. Right, take care, guys. I'm out now.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.